In this podcast episode, the guest, Georgina Baillie, shares her personal story and experiences, including her involvement in the Sachsgate scandal with Russell Brand. She begins by discussing her early life, growing up in London and attending a private all-girls school. She mentions feeling out of place and different from her privileged classmates, which she believes contributed to her later struggles with addiction. Baillie explains that her parents' divorce when she was 19 led her to go off the rails and engage in self-destructive behavior. She began using drugs and alcohol excessively, seeking numbness and escape from her problems. She describes living in a flat share where she would party and engage in risky behavior, including taking drugs and sleeping with multiple partners. The importance of having a father figure in a girl's life is discussed, and Baillie acknowledges that her relationship with her father was strained during this time due to the divorce. She also reflects on her own lack of self-worth and how it contributed to her choices and actions. Baillie then shares how she became involved with Russell Brand, describing it as a friends with benefits situation. She explains that she was aware of the nature of their relationship and did not expect anything more. However, she acknowledges that Brand was struggling with his own issues, including sex addiction, which she believes contributed to their dynamic. The conversation shifts to Baillie's experiences in the modeling industry, where she faced exploitation and abuse. She shares how she was taken advantage of during photo shoots, accepting drugs in exchange for work. She expresses regret for not standing up for herself and urges young girls to be cautious and aware of their boundaries in such situations. Baillie also discusses her involvement in the sex work industry, including working as a dominatrix and escort. She admits that she did not take these roles seriously and felt uncomfortable with the experiences. She emphasizes that her choices were driven by her addiction and desperation for money. The podcast then delves into the Sachsgate scandal, where Baillie's name was publicly associated with Russell Brand and Jonathan Ross. Baillie recalls the moment she found out about the scandal and the subsequent media frenzy. She describes feeling targeted and vilified, with her personal life and past actions being scrutinized and criticized by the public. Baillie expresses her disappointment in the way she was treated by the media and the public, highlighting the double standards and misogyny that she faced. She also discusses the impact the scandal had on her relationships, including her strained relationship with her grandparents and her mother's struggle to navigate between loyalty to her daughter and her own family. The podcast continues with Baillie discussing her journey to recovery and sobriety. She shares that she hit rock bottom and attempted suicide multiple times before seeking help. She credits the 12-step program and therapy for helping her turn her life around and find a sense of self-worth. Baillie also reflects on the apology she received from Russell Brand after many years. She acknowledges his growth and change since the scandal and expresses her forgiveness towards him. She emphasizes the importance of understanding addiction and the need for compassion and support for those struggling with it. Baillie reflects on her own past struggles with addiction and how Brand played a role in her recovery. She credits him with sending her to rehab, which she believes saved her life. She also acknowledges that Brand himself was dealing with his own addiction issues, particularly with sex addiction, which she believes was a way for him to replace his drug addiction. Baillie discusses her own experiences with rehab, noting that she attended 2 different facilities. She explains that the first one was a high-end facility that she couldn't relate to, while the second one, which Brand sent her to, was rougher but more effective for her. She emphasizes the importance of taking ownership of one's actions and making amends, which she believes Brand has done. The conversation then shifts to Baillie's struggles with mental health, particularly premenstrual dysphoric disorder. She explains how this condition affected her and how she sought help through medication and therapy. She also discusses the importance of self-care and maintaining a clear head in recovery. Baillie shares a disturbing encounter she had while working at a peep show. She described seeing a face that was not human, with large eyes and a white glow. She felt a negative energy from this entity and believes it was a demonic presence. She also mentions experiencing dark attachments and the need to cut cords in order to free herself from their influence. The conversation touches on the concept of vibration and energy, with Baillie emphasizing the importance of raising one's vibration and working with positive energies. She also discusses the existence of dark forces and the need to protect oneself from them. Baillie goes on to address the recent allegations against Brand and the media's role in shaping narratives. She expresses her belief that there may be hidden hierarchies and dirt on influential people that protect them from facing consequences. She also acknowledges the difficulty of speaking out against dark forces and the backlash that can come from doing so. Baillie also shares her journey in the entertainment industry, mentioning that she attended drama school and graduated in 2015. However, her addiction issues prevented her from pursuing auditions and she felt like she had ruined her chances. Despite this setback, she was able to play the lead role in a play called White Witch in 2021. She also created a character called Mrs. Fanny Wingrove, a 1950s housewife, inspired by her experiences on Tinder and the chauvinism she encountered. The conversation then shifts to the Sachsgate scandal involving Russell Brand and Jonathan Ross. Baillie reveals that she had been contacted by the media for 3 years leading up to the scandal and suggests that Brand may have been targeted for saying things that certain people didn't want him to say. She criticizes cancel culture and the media's focus on demonizing individuals without concrete evidence. Baillie also mentions the lack of attention given to other high-profile cases like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. When asked about advice for those struggling with addiction or difficult times, Baillie emphasizes the importance of seeking help and support. She recommends recovery groups and reaching out to organizations like Mind or the Samaritans. Baillie shares her own experience of going through recovery and highlights the transient nature of emotions, reminding listeners that difficult moments will pass. Towards the end of the podcast, Baillie discusses her plans for the future. She mentions that she will continue filming episodes of Fanny Business, a series she created with a director and producer called Spiros. They are planning to make feature-length episodes and Baillie is open to other opportunities like presenting a program. She also mentions having sample chapters of a book but reveals that the ghostwriter she was working with got cold feet due to the sensitive nature of the content. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.